We
Are you ready for the Leagues Cup, bro? Because this was a trip.
All right, well, so I literally was just to like throw it out there. I was telling some homies that I was playing with before that we're starting this, and I even explained it to them. And like the situation is kind of screwed up because from my point of view, all I know is on the base level. Obviously, we were in the Open Cup. The Open Cup is the longest standing tournament in U.S. soccer history. And we left the Open Cup to only play in the Leagues Cup, correct? Because that's what the MLS wanted us to do, because it's their cup. Right?
Yeah. The weird thing, though, is there are still 8 MLS top flight teams that are competing in it. So I don't understand. And I wasn't able to really find why those specific 8. One of them is because Houston won, something like that. So there are some MLS top flight teams that are in it. I have all this stuff here. But yeah, the US Open Cup, 109 years, dude. I did not realize that. Went all the way back 1914 was the first one. It wasn't even called the Lamar Hunt. It was called something completely different. The National Cup. So since 1914, it's been every year except COVID.
Well, that's like I told you, it's our FA Cup, right? It's everyone has a chance. It's, includes all the teams in the country, and obviously it's the dream of like a small team to be able to play someone like the New York Red Bulls and then win that.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the whole idea, right? It was the FA Cup. It goes all the way down to let's see, MLS Division 1, that's how they categorize it. This is for the Open Cup. Division 2 is the USL, so that's like the one tier right below the MLS. Division 3, so it goes down. Division 3 has the MLS Next Pro, considered as Division 3. And then it goes to the Open Division, which would be Division 4. So it goes all the way down to as low as it could possibly go. Oh, USL League 2, like it goes low. Leagues I didn't even, honestly, never even heard of before.
Right. Yeah, it is crazy.
It goes a long way down. But for 2024 Open Cup this year, the sad reality is there's only eight Division 1 teams playing in it. All the rest of the teams are participating in the Leagues Cup. I believe these teams are also part of the Leagues Cup. So, that's kind of weird. Only eight Division 1. There would only be like, imagine if 8 Premier League teams were participating in the FA Cup and the rest of the Premier League wasn't.
But they were in the EFL Cup.
Right.
That's weird. But then those 8 teams are in both.
I was. Let me see.
Right. So those 8 teams that are in the Open Cup, I would assume they're still in the Leagues Cup, right?
Let me see here. That is one thing that I was not really able to find. I was more kind of looking, since I never really knew much about these cups, and I guess it created a whole rift with the Open Cup and the Leagues Cup. 47 MLS teams are in the Leagues Cup. 47 MLS and Liga MX teams. So combined, 47 first division clubs across Canada, Mexico, and the United States. So 47 clubs in total, opposed to the Open Cup, which is like, I mean, they have 32 teams just from one division.
Right.
So, and they have down to 4 divisions. So there's a lot more teams in it. The Leagues Cup is actually kind of interesting, honestly. I was first of all, just wanted to say their slogan, it is kind of sick. 4 weeks, they shut the MLS down for a month and the Liga MX. No league games. So it's 4 weeks, 3 countries, 2 leagues, 1 champion. 4-3-2-1. Kind of catchy, not gonna lie. I have to give it to it's a good tagline, for sure. Now, there's a bunch of weird things that I learned, ironically, about Liga MX while doing this. So, before I get into like what I found, how the teams are picked here, because I'll be honest, there's terrible reporting on any of this. Like, I was reading this stuff. I'm like, dude, I had no idea.
That's the biggest problem here, right? Like that's why we need to do this, because the coverage is just horrendous. Nobody knows what they're talking about. Nobody understands the sport. It's all surrounded around money and whoever can, report a little bit here and there just to scrape by and make a few dollars off of U.S. soccer. We need real reporting.
It's funny because the reporting is one of the things that the MLS president said, about how the coverage is really bad. Like when he was interviewed about why, so many teams are being taken out of the U.S. Open Cup. One of the things that he said, and I do have the direct quote, it might take me just a second to find it, but basically what he said is that he didn't feel like this was a good representation of a league that is trying to be grown into a serious league, like a league people want to watch, a league people want to play in, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And he kind of brought up how, first of all, he even said, he's quoted as saying, I can't even find Leagues Cup games to watch, and I'm in charge of the whole show. Like, it's even hard for me, a chairperson of the MLS, to watch and find the videos of the Open Cup. Then he went into, which we have already heard before, the playing conditions. Some of the MLS teams playing, on a 4th division field, which is good for revenue, but we're not talking about the Premier League. Like, it's not as drastic of a downgrade, but look at Luton Town, for example. Their field is way different than the Etihad, but it's still a professional field with stands, maintained grounds, and meets a standard that the Premier League needs and that the Championship needs. Some of these MLS teams are playing in the Open Cup on it looks like high school fields with metal bleachers.
Yeah, I've seen that. It looks like they're playing at the local town field. Where just like the 13-year-old rec team played yesterday, and today they're playing a U.S. Open Cup game.
Yeah, like you just said, one day we're playing in Harrison, New Jersey. The Red Bulls are playing on a purpose-built field that holds 25,000 people. And then the next day they're playing at a community college. Yeah,
I mean, even going to Montclair that one time, that was for a U.S. Open Cup game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was
that was against weird. DC United, too. And it was weird playing at Montclair University. It kind of felt cool because, it was like a small setting and it was very personal. But we should not be playing DC United on a college campus soccer field. Like, we need, especially when we have the Red Bull Arena. Like, there's no reason for that. There should be 10, 15,000 people showing up to a U.S. Open Cup game. This is supposed to be our FA Cup. So why, that's the real reason. Why are we not pushing this to people like, hey, this is our great American soccer tournament?
Huge history. Pele played in it.
Exactly. I mean, people have played in this for over 100 years, you've said. So why are we sitting here in 2024 when soccer is as big as it's ever been in America, but we can't get people to go to an Open Cup game? Or, I mean, come on.
And, that was basically what Garber was, the commissioner, Don Garber, it's basically what he was getting at. I mean, here, I found the quote. He said at one point, the games are hard to find for viewers, including myself, and are played on subpar fields. I would say that they're not games that would want our product to be shown to a large audience. So frankly, I'm not all that disappointed that audience is small. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but we need to get better with the U.S. Open Cup. It's just not a proper reflection of what soccer in America at a professional level needs to be. Now, when people make the comparison FA Cup and U.S. Open Cup, Derby County has a stadium, has fans, is a solid, they have a following. If I go to watch the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, now I'm not saying that, I might not even be saying their name right, honestly, first of all. And second of all, I'm not saying that they're a subpar team. But I am saying that he does have a point. If I'm trying to be an Inter Miami fan, and I'm going to watch a stream that's first impossible for me to find, and we're playing a third division side, and it's in someone's backyard. Doesn't look too good. Like, Sergio Busquets running around on like an 18-year-old field at the local sports complex just doesn't sound right at all. And I don't think that you would ever see Nico Williams running around on a high school soccer field.
Right.
In the Spanish domestic cups, or Erling Haaland. Imagine him running around on like a high school's field, and the camera shot is of the school in the background, and he's in the 18. It would look weird. It would optically, it would be a little strange.
Right. I mean,